Welcome to this explainer. Have you ever wondered why, despite putting in countless hours of effort, so many of us just kind of stay stuck at a merely average level? Well, today we're diving deep into the source material to unpack exactly why some people achieve extraordinary mastery while others plateau. And spoiler alert, expertise is absolutely not an accident. It's something you literally have to build. So, here's our roadmap for today's deep dive. We're going to kick things off with Section 1, the secret of expertise, talent, or design. Then we'll move into Section 2, the master's role in practice design. After that, Section 3, the organization as a learning system. Then Section 4, self-leadership, your most important practice designer. And finally, we'll wrap up with Section 5, building your personal learning architecture. We're going to peel back the layers of how expertise is actually built and show you how to architect your own success. All right, Part 1, the secret of expertise, talent, or design. Let's just dive straight in and tackle the absolute biggest misconception about high performers right out of the gate. When we look at world-class experts, the Olympic athletes or the prodigy musicians, it is so tempting to just ask, were they born with this? We see the gold medals and the brilliant performances, and we automatically assume there's just some kind of magic in their DNA, or maybe they just had exceptionally lucky circumstances. But the data? It tells a completely different story. The reality from the source material is that true expertise doesn't just happen by accident. It is meticulously designed. Think about it. On one side, you've got this passive reliance on talent and circumstance, basically just waiting around for lightning to strike. But to actually reach the top, you've got to shift over to the other side, designed practice. This is an active, architectural approach. You can't just wait for mastery to find you. You have to construct it yourself. And this brings us to a really crucial concept, the practice designer. So what is that? Well, a practice designer is the vital architect who makes sure your efforts aren't just scattered to the wind. They set crystal clear goals, they sequence your tasks from simple to complex, they give you timely feedback, and this is the real secret sauce. They keep you right in that optimal zone of difficulty. That sweet spot where you're challenged but not totally overwhelmed. Because without a designer, your practice is just aimless, ineffective repetition. So, the big question is, who exactly fills this role? That brings us to Section 2, the master's role in practice design. Historically, this vital role of the designer has been filled by a highly effective, yet increasingly rare figure. Enter the master coach, or mentor. These folks shorten your learning curve immensely because they do all the heavy lifting of design for you. They do an initial assessment to diagnose your current level and spot your weaknesses. Then they build a step-by-step sequence of challenges tailored specifically to you. And crucially, they provide instant feedback. They literally correct your errors the second they happen, way before those bad habits have a chance to solidify. In fact, research in sports and music psychology confirms that almost all world-class experts had a master designing their early practice. A perfect example of this is the classic case of the Polgar sisters. This story is wild. So Laszlo and Klara Polgar were just average chess players themselves, right? But they designed this incredibly unique training system for their 3 daughters. The result? All 3 girls became chess grandmasters. This absolutely proves that a meticulously crafted practice system matters way, way more than any innate talent. Their parents weren't masters of playing chess, but they were absolute masters of practice design. Moving on to Section 3, the organization as a learning system. Now, a master is incredibly powerful, obviously, but let's be real, they aren't going to be with you 24/7. This brings us to our second type of designer, which operates on a much larger industrial scale. Forward-thinking organizations actually don't leave their employees' expertise to chance. They build systematic, scalable frameworks to design that practice for you. They use career ladders to define exactly what skills you're going to need next. They use job rotations to help you build skills horizontally across different departments. And they use 360-degree feedback for comprehensive evaluation. Essentially, they architect the workplace environment to systematically empower you over time. As Peter Senge's concept of the learning organization highlights, structured practice design at an organizational level leads to higher productivity and just consistently outpaces the competition. But we do have to admit one thing. Relying solely on your organization has a fatal flaw. It is inherently generic. It's built for the masses, not specifically for you. And hey, if you're an entrepreneur or a freelancer, this organizational designer doesn't even exist for you. Which is exactly why we need Section 4, self-leadership, your most important practice designer. In the modern world, especially with nonlinear careers, you're kind of on your own. So let's look at the most important designer in the room. You guessed it, you must become your own designer. The source material highlights Barry Zimmerman's three-step model of self-regulated learning, which is a total game changer for rapidly accelerating your progress. Step 1 is forethought. You analyze the task and set personal goals. Step 2 is performance. You actually execute the task while monitoring yourself in real time. And step 3 is self-reflection, evaluating your results and course correcting. People who actively run themselves through these 3 steps progress infinitely faster than those who just sit back and wait to be trained. And if you want to know just how unbelievably powerful this kind of self-regulation and internal design is, check out this fascinating 1995 study by Pasquale Leone. They took 2 groups of people. Group 1 physically practiced the piano for 2 hours a day. Group 2, they literally didn't even touch a piano. They did 2 hours of purely mental practice, just actively imagining playing the sequences in their heads. The results were honestly mind-blowing. The mental practice group showed almost the exact same brain cortex changes and skill improvement as the physical practice group. No way, right? But it's true. This proves that you can design profound physical improvement entirely from within your own mind. You don't always need an external environment to get better. Your internal architecture is incredibly potent, all on its own. This scientific breakthrough leads us to what we call the law of idiosyncratic practice. Basically, there is no single best generic routine out there. The only path to true world-class expertise is the personalized routine that you actively design for yourself. You've got to target your specific personal weaknesses, amplify your own unique strengths, and adapt the whole thing to your personal rhythm and learning style. Nobody else can do this for you. All right, let's bring it all home in Section 5, Building Your Personal Learning Architecture. Now we're going to integrate all these pillars into a holistic, actionable model so you can break right through your current plateau. The absolute fastest route to expertise is what's known as the triad of expertise. Look, you shouldn't just rely entirely on yourself if you don't have to. The best approach is a 3-way architecture. You leverage the external masters to get a guided path and that immediate feedback. You leverage your organizational systems for structure and platforms, but at the center of the whole shebang, you. You act as the ultimate chief designer, executing the plan and ruthlessly personalizing the design to fit you perfectly. So let's get practical. To put this into play today, try this concrete exercise straight from the source material. First, audit your resources. Ask yourself, who can be my master? What tools does my organization actually offer? Second, sit down and write out a Zimmerman-style weekly plan. Really build in that forethought, performance, and self-reflection. And third, build your own personal self-feedback loop. If you don't have a master standing over your shoulder to correct you, record yourself on your phone, use checklists, and compare your work against the absolute highest standard you can find. As we wrap up our time together today, I want to leave you with a challenge, a profound pledge, if you will. I commit to being the active designer of my own practice for my chosen skill, and my next 3 actions are. You fill in the blanks. Are you willing to step out of the passive practitioner role today? Will you stop waiting for talent to carry you or for luck to magically find you and actively honor this pledge? Because remember, expertise is not an accident. It is designed. So the only question left for you is, what are your next 3 actions going to be?